So having
We're just having a bit of a catch up, aren't we, Klaus? We haven't,
yeah,
we've been busy over Christmas and New Year's, and
yes,
we've tried to pencil things in, and it just didn't work out very well.
yeah. Anyway, here we are,
Yeah,
and
here we are having a catch up. Yeah.
let's see if
So
Goody joins us. It's 4 a.m. in in Minneapolis, so maybe
but
he's
yeah, that's what we were saying. He's awake.
he
He
seems
did
to be
send a
awake.
few. Yeah, he sent a few messages, but he seems to never be able to sleep for long. But yeah, I'm not. I do have quite a few supplements, but I did post the other day about. So for me, when I try and sleep at night, normally I'll just be laying there, and then your brain goes into overdrive, and I can't seem to wind down. So sometimes I'll be laying there for
Interesting.
like 2 hours trying to drop off to sleep, even
Yes.
if I'm tired. I think it was last spring. I probably um, tried all of the tactics, like putting your legs up, no screen time, red lights everywhere for like 2 hours before bed.
Hmm.
While it did help somewhat, it didn't help anywhere near as much as there's a brand called On It, and they
Yes.
do
Yeah.
one called New Mood relaxation blend,
Yes.
and I just I couldn't believe it. Like it's about a month in now, and I take two of those probably an hour to 2 hours before going to bed, and then within 10 minutes I'm out like a light, and I've been getting some really good quality sleep as well.
Yeah, I looked. I think you sent me or you posted a photo of the thing, and I looked at it. It has, I think it's called Baldrian root
Hmm.
in it, which is a very effective, very effective at calming down. So
Yeah.
yeah, it has the real stuff in it. I think
Mm.
I used to have the same with maybe having some trouble falling asleep, and lots of thoughts and lots of things. I think partly, you know you can look forward to getting older. It's gonna that part is gonna get less and less
Hmm.
as you get older, because yeah, that's just what happens, which is good. So one of the advantages, but uh, I think the big thing for me, which really has improved my quality of sleep and my quality of life, is to have a quite a regular circadian rhythm. Regardless whether it's summer or winter. We have a huge
Hmm.
difference, obviously. I mean, you have a big difference in the UK as well: summer, winter, light, etc. It
Mm.
gets even bigger here, north of 60 degrees north. But just keeping the rhythm, not no caffeine in the afternoon and evening, and dimmed lights, and just do all of it. But I think the kind of the uh, consistent routine really helps. Both I think that it has a physiological, light physiological component, but I think it has a mental component as well, which it probably somehow signals to your brain on some level that things are somewhat in order, if you can do your daily routine, and you're
Mm.
not too disturbed in that. We need
Yeah.
Huberman to make a to expand on this, I guess.
Yeah. There's the sleep bloke that you've probably seen the podcast on Joe Rogan. Have you
Yeah.
seen what he looks like now?
Yeah, he got jacked.
He got jacked, and he looks like some sort of elf from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, I don't know what he did to his face,
No, it's
but I guess
really
he had
weird.
some. I think he had some enhancement. That's what it looks like to me. It looks like
Yeah.
he's had some injections and something. I mean, the rest of us, when we do whatever we do with our stuff here, our keto carnivore stuff, and get healthier, we tend not to get chubbier in the face.
I think. Is there a way of pulling up a picture on the live stream or
Yes,
not?
there is. Let me just.
So,
find-
if you get a before picture and then show everyone what he looks like now, but
yeah. What's
it looks
his
like
name
an
again?
elf.
I forgot his name.
Sleep
guy.
Tim. Let me have a look. Yeah.
Sleep Professor. Let's see if I can find him.
His
Matthew
name
Walker.
is Matthew Walker. Yeah.
Matthew Walker before and after. Let's have a look.
I know it was definitely his profile picture on X that made me think, is this actually the right guy?
Oh, it's. I saw him at one point, but I haven't seen the latest ones.
Have you just seen it?
Let me just share my screen here. Just hold on. So let's see.
Are we live streaming through Low Carb Logic and your one? I'll just say.
Yes, we are, and I'll show you how we can add your account to the list as well. But you have to do.
Yeah.
I can't do it because you have to be on your. You have to have X open in your Chrome browser on the specific account you want to add. So you can add yours, and Goody could add his. Then we can live stream on all of them.
Okay.
So anyway, I don't, can you see it? So here's.
Yeah. So that's what he looks like before.
Before. Not good. Good looking guy. And
drum roll,
and that's what he looks like now. If you look at him next to Huberman here.
Yeah, can you pull up his X account?
Hold on.
You do get the gist there, but have a look.
Let's see.
Yeah, look at that.
Oh my God!
How strange. It looks AI generated, doesn't it?
This is an AI generated one, but I think this.
But that is him.
That's him with the elf-like, with the odd hair and stuff. I think. Yeah. Well,
But yeah, what
can I say? I think.
What? Yeah, it's just I'd like to.
I guess he was not happy with the way he looked.
No, I wonder if he's documented any of it. I'm not sure.
Good question. That's a good question. Sorry to be a little bit. I'm not trying to. We all want to look our best, don't we? So.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just going to shut the door because the washing machine's going on as dry. But
you know who comes to mind? The Brian Johnson comes to mind as well.
Yeah, maybe they're communicating somehow.
My guess is there's a chance that they know each other well, probably. And I think if you spend time around a guy like Brian Johnson, spend a lot of time around him, you're probably you might.
Things will rub off on you. Yeah.
Into these things, I'm pretty sure if I spent time with him, I'd be affected by it. So
yeah, I think that was one of the posts I put out the other day was about Brian Johnson. Have you looked on the Blueprint website? They're doing that, regardless of if people like him or not, he's doing some. It looks like he's doing some great work. I'll just bring the website.
I agree. I can understand the criticism and the skeptics and everything, but he shares information about his results and what he does. It doesn't cost anyone anything. You don't have to buy anything to get much of the knowledge that he produces. So I don't really see much of a downside for the rest of us.
Yeah. So they've added. Let me bring the proper website up. Yeah, they added sort of health screening to their list.
Right. Yeah.
Biomarkers. you can see where your health journey begins, basically. If people, and guys in America will have to let us know, you have to look at the cost of it and compare it to if you go to a doctor and see if it works out any cheaper. But this is the sort of thing that if you scale up to high numbers, then the price can obviously come down. And the first year or two will obviously be the highest cost, probably, as long as they're following those things. But MRI scans as well, so you can look at the visceral fat, etc., which you're quite passionate about. So so when it comes to visceral fat and MRI scans, if we've not aired this before, Klaus, obviously you think that it's a good idea, which it is, but MRIs take the only downside is MRI scans take quite a long time. But with an MRI scan, it is expensive. So in a country like England, where you've got a national health service, there's no scan time at all for like a visceral fat screening, unless you go private. Whereas
it's a similar situation here, and I have not had an MRI scan done to check my visceral fat. No. I think my visceral fat is probably pretty low, but I full disclosure, I did not have a scan at some point when it fits, when it's convenient. I'm definitely going to do it. But it's like in Finland, it's like UK. We have equivalent to the NHS, and we do also have private. And I'm guessing that there are some MRI scanners in private hands. At least they have some on the veterinary side. So you could go and maybe you could convince a veterinary surgeon to do an MRI scan, if nothing else. But we'll see. I don't know what the cost is, but I think the cost here is, I have something like €1,500, which is roughly $1,500 or $1,200, something between $1,000 and $2,000 is probably what it's going to cost. And I'd say if you can't afford it, that doesn't mean you can't do the things to reduce your visceral fat, which is basically do a low-carb diet, carnivore or another form of low-carb diet, get your weight down. And as you start losing weight, it's going to start with the visceral fat reducing the most, the fastest. So just get your weight down to a normal, healthy range, and you're going to be fine, and no scans needed. And if you can afford it, why not get all the information you can get your DNA tests done, get your whatever you can, and more, and then you can adjust supplementation, and you can adjust what maybe if you're carnivore, there's not much adjustment to do on the food side, but at least you can maybe then see if some supplementation would make sense for you. And I think for me, I can understand the purists who and it's very compelling to say that I only eat beef or whatever. I only eat ruminant meat, and that's it. No supplementation, and I never have a coffee, and I never have a whatever. Very compelling. On the other hand, what's the problem with I don't know, let's say you have a vitamin D deficiency, or let's say low vitamin D. What's the problem in taking a supplement from a good provider, or some other vitamin or mineral supplement like magnesium, or like the sleep help stuff that you talked about? I don't really see the problem. I think the problem is if you approach it in an uncontrolled manner. So if you just take loads of supplements and take high doses of it and don't get blood tests and don't get your levels checked. Obviously some overdosing of supplements can lead to problems with your liver and your organs. So want to be careful, but and I guess if you look at Brian Johnson, who's obviously a vegan, uh, and he's obviously in this respect he's a clever vegan, so he does a load of supplementation because otherwise he's going to be sick. So
Exactly. I think yeah, that sums it up quite nicely. But I think even if you don't like him, it's still worth reading what he's saying. And he seems to move quite quickly. So as soon as there's one piece of there's a new study which comes out, they'll quickly jump on it, try it, and if it doesn't work, then they'll say it doesn't work for them.
yes,
So
yeah.
there's some nice transparency there, which we're big fans of. But how was
By
your
by them you mean him or what?
um well, it's him, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm
Yeah.
just I'm not trying to make a joke of it. I was just getting,
Yeah.
I'm Gen X, so we just have
Mm.
usually him and her. But
Yeah, they them. Yeah. I see
yeah,
what
no,
you mean.
I
Sorry,
get your
my
point. I get
brain
your
my
point.
brain turned off slightly.
No, no, it's fine. It's fine. I try to. I actually try to in when I think of it, I try to use the neutral pronoun as well. No need to offend people unnecessarily, and
Mm.
it's no bother. In fact, just a funny side note. In the Finnish language, does not have gender. You uh, it does not have he and him. It just has the equivalent of they and them.
Mhm.
So the whole problem doesn't exist in this language.
No, no, very forward thinking.
Somehow I doubt that, but anyway, very
Hmm.
practical in this short period of time in history. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Um, but no, yeah. So Brian Johnson, definitely one to keep an eye on for this year. I think
yeah, I
things are going
agree.
to move
I agree.
quite fast, definitely.
Yeah,
Um, but I was over the Christmas period. There was only 3 days off track for me, so I'll stand on the scales after this and then post an accountability update. Um, but it's not too bad at all. There was only so I was going to only be off plan for 2 days, and then one day I said I'll have just one.
yes.
So I had just one chocolate, and then I ended up having many, many, many chocolates.
Well,
And
as
then
it
so that,
goes.
yeah, exactly. And then it was three
It's
days. So, um, but then it was straight back onto it yesterday. Um, and feeling fine. I went to the gym on Monday and felt great. Yeah, didn't feel slow. I felt quite strong actually.
yes. I had on Christmas Eve. I had a cup of mulled wine, a small glass of white wine, and then I had too much food, and I felt absolutely horrible
Mm,
during the night, and the next day I was just totally blocked. I felt
mm.
totally blocked, and yeah, that was not nice. But what can you
No,
do?
I felt the same way. Yeah. A side note.
Yeah,
That's yeah. I think so tomorrow we can probably record a episode for Carnival Basics if you're about.
yeah,
Um,
absolutely. Let's do that.
or we'll try and cover some of the low carb diets.
Yeah, it's
And yeah.
I don't know if you noticed. I put up a post about carnivore for newbies wanting to do carnivore World Carnivore Month. Do this,
Mhm.
and so a lot of positive feedback, mainly positive feedback. But of course, a few people. Uh, I, I I don't really understand. You put out some simple instructions, and suddenly it's all about semantics. So I was talking about
Mm.
what is carnivore, and then I called the version that I'm doing. I called flexible carnivore, which is when you include organ meats and whatever
Mm.
organ meats, eggs, dairy, etc. And the pure carnivore, I just kind of defined it as the based on our talks with Amber O'Hearn and
Mhm.
the old guys from the 1930s who did this, and very emotional topic, and all kinds of accusations flying through the air.
Yeah.
Anyway, if for anyone listening here, uh, you know, don't worry about it. If you want to eat liver, go ahead. It's fine. It's not, the point is not it's not a cult. It's not a religion. It's just a way to get healthy and stay healthy. So eat whatever you want. But if you're interested in trying out the original therapeutic carnivore, then that is eating ruminant muscle meat. That's it. And if you do that for a month, you're going to be fine. You're not going to get into a major nutrient deficiency,
Mm.
and you can probably do it for a long time and with no deficiencies. So and why is it interesting and relevant to try this? The reason is because you can find kind of a set point, or where you reset your digestive system,
Mhm.
and then you can add back different foods once you're stabilized in that state. And doing it for a month, you're going to be pretty well back to some kind of a set point. And then you can add back things, whether it's liver, or whether it's other things. Maybe you don't want to be carnivore, maybe you just want to be low carb, or maybe you don't want to be low carb, but then you can add back, let's say, pasta or rice or liver or something, dairy, and see what it does to you. It'll give you a very good idea of what foods don't agree with you, even if you don't officially have an allergy or a problem with something. It's much easier for you to identify the foods which don't agree with you, and that's at least one of the points of doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So just to highlight some of the things which you've hit the nail on the head with, which is it is important to be somewhat well, to be strict for the first month, 6 weeks at least. And one thing that I've spoken about, and only a few people have agreed with me with this, but I hit the beef wall. I spoke about that before, where I think I was like 3 or 4 weeks in, and I'd lay there at night, and then all I'd think about is ground beef, and I just didn't want to eat it at all. And at that point, I then introduced some pork, introduced some cheese back in, and then after a few days, or chicken, whatever you want, um, and then I remember that sensation passed, and now I can eat it every day if I
Yes.
needed to. Um, but don't be alarmed if you sort of hit those sort of things. And for some people, they can have altered bowel movements. For me, it wasn't. It just improved, and I think it was the same for you, Klaus.
Yes.
Um, and then, like Klaus said, you can experiment with other ways of doing it. If you think this isn't sustainable for me, then maybe try upping the fat content. So maybe look into ketogenic lifestyles, um, which is around 20 to 50. Well, it depends on your body, but some people can't have any carbs. Some people can have up to 30 grams of carbohydrates and remain in ketosis.
Yes.
Um, uh, and things like olive oil, don't be terrified of, because it's not animal based. There's nothing wrong with good quality extra virgin olive oil.
Yes.
Um, just don't cook with it. Um, Other
Yes.
things that come to mind: sauerkraut, good for your gut, very low
Yeah.
GI.
Yeah. I think maybe one of the I think one of the things, one of the things which may scare people off within the first days or first couple of weeks is what you mentioned first, which is you know, change bowel movements. Maybe nothing happens, or you maybe you get diarrhea, or you just feel very strange and odd as your body uh, adapts, I would say, and also I think one of the big things when you switch from a normal carbohydrate rich diet to a very low carb diet, whether it's carnivore or ketogenic
Mhm.
or another version, is that you as you consume less or no carbohydrates, your blood glucose levels go much lower, and as a consequence, your insulin level goes lower, and as a
Mhm.
consequence of that, your body excretes quite a lot of salt or sodium and fluids. So that's one of the reasons why you have in the beginning of such a phase, if you want to lose weight, you tend to lose weight pretty quickly in the beginning, because you lose the fluids as the sodium levels, as the sodium is excreted due to the low
Mhm.
insulin levels, and this can lead to some dizziness and what some people call keto flu, and you can compensate for that by, you know, salting to taste and making sure that you get enough electrolytes, and you could, it might be a good idea to look out for, you know, having a good magnesium supplement and maybe even a potassium supplement,
Mhm.
in addition to maybe having to salt your foods a little bit more than you're used to for a while. For many people, including me, the this extra salt or this sodium balance, it kind of balances out, and of course at some point your body is not excreting more salt because it already has excreted the extra salt. So but don't be mostly there's no need to be afraid of your body feeling different, and I think in many cases you're going to feel better, better as well. And
Yeah.
with the bowel movements, I think probably one of the things, there seems to be some confusion about what constipation is. That not too much confusion about what diarrhea is, but constipation. The fact that you are not having a bowel movement is not the same as constipation.
Mhm.
Constipation is if you want to have a bowel movement but you can't.
Mhm. Mhm.
It's stuck, and both things can happen. But if you eat a only meat, which means that you eat no fiber at all, then what comes out the other end is very little. So because it gets very well digested, so there just isn't much to move out, and uh, and then it takes a while for the body to adjust, etc., etc. So if you used to have a bowel movement once a day, eventually you'll be back to having a bowel movement once a day, but it's going to be a very small one if you only eat meat.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely. Other things which are worth talking about is if you were holding a lot of body fat like I was, um, you're gonna have a lot of toxins and bad stuff sort of attenuated in that fat. And what I would recommend is consuming some sort of binder once or twice a day, something like activated charcoal capsules.
Good point.
Um, yeah, just because that will help bind some of the toxins while it's passing through your system. What some people don't realize is that can just be recycled in your body, and then all that's happening is you're having these toxins come in and out of your liver in some sort of cycle. So they need to be able to bind to something. So even the sauerkraut probably acts as a binder because there's some fiber in there.
Yes.
So that's probably one of the recommendations I'd give.
Yeah.
Um,
Activated charcoal is very effective,
yeah,
and
I would recommend the Shilajit, but it's still a bit of an unknown area. In honesty, when
didn't
it
work
comes
for
to
me.
heavy metals.
Not I it didn't make didn't work. Didn't feel good for me.
No, it just tastes strange. I'm sure
Yeah, I
that
don't know.
if you
I
have,
just didn't
yeah,
feel good having it. It's
mm,
but anyway, activated charcoal. You have to be mindful. Long term, you should be mindful that activated charcoal it binds it binds everything. So it binds nutrients as well.
hmm
So if you keep taking activated charcoal forever, you might run into some nutrient deficiencies
mm,
eventually. So take it for a while, but maybe not necessarily long term. I think with the uh, toxins. Initially, when I started my journey, I had probably for the first month or maybe 2 months, I had a huge increase in migraines
yeah,
and feeling strange. And I think precisely because of this, because losing, I wasn't super overweight, but I did lose almost 30% of my body weight, a lot of which was fat,
mm,
and then after that, what was gone, no more migraines. It's like maybe
yeah,
once a year max, but maybe not even that.
yeah. I'm the same. I had an increase in migraines as well, but I think it's been a good probably February, March, April was my last one, somewhere along those lines. So I'm doing quite well now. Um,
Yeah.
there
I
were
don't even
and
remember exactly when I had it last. I thought I was going to have one, at Christmas
yeah, I
with
did as
this, but
well. I
it
thought
kind
that.
of it kind of showed itself. It's like an aura kind of
Yeah,
thing,
yeah, yeah.
but then it didn't. It just never materialized. So
Oh,
which was
good,
good.
good. I didn't get any of the auras, but I did have a quite a cracking headache after 2 days of eating shit. Um, but another thing worth talking about is when it comes to the gym. So Klaus can talk a bit on this, but about habit formation. But one of the things is don't bite off more than you can chew. So it's all well and good saying, right, it's January. I'm gonna go on the carnivore diet. I'm gonna start going to the gym, and then I'm gonna go for runs. Just be mindful of yourself. Have you said that before in the past, and did you stick at it? No. For me, I was on the carnivore diet for about 10 months, and then I set foot in the gym again.
Hmm.
And it doesn't have to be much. There's different ways of doing it. You don't have to be in there for 3 hours a day, 6 days a week. You can be in there for
Not at all. Yeah.
35, 40 minutes and get better results. But do you want to talk a little bit about habit formation and
Yeah,
some of
sure.
the
Well,
risks?
first of all, I think with New Year's resolutions, I think focus on one thing and set the bar low, so that you get in the habit of doing the habit. Something which is so easy to do that it's just ridiculous if you don't do it, and then just keep going, and then you can once you have a feeling of, okay, this is good, it's working, then you can add other new good habits that you've defined for yourself, and do those. So take it as a gradual process rather than defining 100 new habits at one time and overwhelm yourself, and then you give up
Mhm,
and feel like a loser. We don't want that. So just take it easy and set the bar low. And with the gym, uh, I think if you need to lose weight, there is uh, there is quite it seems to be the best thing you can do is to keep your activity level the same as you had. So don't increase your activity level a lot, because if you do that, you're going to increase your cortisol level as well. And when your cortisol goes up, your blood glucose goes up, and your insulin goes up, and then you don't lose weight as quickly.
mhm,
And what James was describing, I did the same. So I didn't really do any exercise. So I didn't increase the exercise while I lost weight. So I lost 30% of my body weight in 3 months. And then I started some home exercise. It was beginning of 2020. So then I started exercising at home, some calisthenics at home, and just gradually took it from there. Joined the gym, got into my routine, and all of that. So yeah, for weight
Take yeah,
losers, just take it
take it
easy.
easy.
Focus
Mm,
on the weight loss is it's about what you don't put in your mouth. That's it.
mm.
And then
Just
longer term,
thinking,
of course, then you can do your
yeah,
uh,
I'm
endurance
thinking
sports or
back,
whatever.
thinking back to what my mechanism was at the beginning, and that was I was having cheat meals every 6, 7 days to start with, and I don't recommend doing it. I highly recommend just cracking on with it, um, because all that happens is your body then attenuates loads of water for the next day or two. You feel rank for a day or two, and then you feel like, oh, thank God for that. I'm back on it, and I'm feeling better. My abdomen feels better again. Um, unless you struggle a lot, I just don't recommend the cheat meals at all.
Yeah,
Um,
it's not a good idea. I think
no,
the cheat meals and all of that. I think it's I, my guess is most people do not do well with those, and I think the human the human tendency towards being addicted
mm,
is there in most people. I think it's the
yeah,
vast
hundred
majority of
percent.
people who will have difficulty, just having one or
Yeah,
however you want to express it. And so
can't
just
do it.
it's just easier not. It, you make your life easier and less painful if you just
Mm.
stick with it.
Maybe we should do a few episodes on some of the common health conditions when if someone just continues to eat masses of ultra processed foods throughout their lives.
Hmm.
So we can do an episode on just to educate some people on the long term effects of that. Um,
Yeah, sure.
and maybe a recommendation is, obviously you're going to be doing the carnivore diet. Some people might jump in head feet first and try and incorporate intermittent fasting um, with it. And then some people, if you feel dizzy, if you don't feel good, if you're just not enjoying it, then maybe bring your first meal a bit closer to the morning. So maybe have a big high protein breakfast, get some eggs, get a lot of eggs in your system. Um, I'm just sort of we're trying to run through some scenarios in my head that might put people off and say it's just unsustainable. But if you have like 6 to 8 eggs in the morning, I'm pretty sure you'll feel fine.
Yes, and of course, the huge individual differences in. Also, I think depending on what how did you conduct yourself, how did you live your life until you wanted to make the change, and depending on what your daily routines were and what you're used to,
Mm,
it's going to be uh, different, and your challenges are going to be mm, different from somebody else's. But I think
mm,
uh, the brain, at least my brain, is really good at generating all kinds of excuses and explanations and fake worries to try and motivate me to do stupid stuff. And by
mm,
stupid stuff, I mean eat the wrong stuff, have a bottle of wine or whatever, and just don't give in to the nonsense that your brain is trying to feed you. And
no,
call it a demon or call it whatever you want, but just don't give in to it. And you're gonna thank yourself for pulling through. You're gonna feel better.
yeah.
But I think
And
much. I
I'm
think. Sorry, yeah, go ahead.
I was just that just made me think of Mike on Iron in Australia. If you do fall off, don't beat yourself up. Just get straight back on the wagon and forget about it.
Exactly. Yeah, it's. I think it's also easy to get into this kind of I don't know what to call it, an emotional fallacy or another kind of brain fart, is that okay? Uh, I, I'm off the wagon, and now nothing matters, and I'm a loser, and I can't do this stuff, and so well, I'm just gonna have another tub of ice cream
Mm.
and whatever. Get over yourself and just get back and continue. No one anyway. No one cares except you. So there's no need for self pity or any other nonsense. By the way, one of the most useless feelings in the world, self pity.
Yeah,
Just
it's
just horrible.
yeah. There's no positive outcomes to it. No,
No, there isn't.
no. Is there anything else you can think of?
Probably plenty. There's probably
Mm.
lots of stuff, but I think it's a good idea to talk about talk a little bit about metabolic syndrome and type two
Yeah,
diabetes and everything which follows from being metabolically unhealthy. There's a whole huge chapter about psychiatric conditions as well.
hmm
So
we
so
could. Yeah, that's. I think we'll do a dedicated recorded video for that. If we
yeah,
can get
sure.
that done tomorrow, maybe, or maybe tonight if you fancied a late one.
Yeah,
That's up to you. If you don't want to, then we can just do it
tomorrow's probably
tomorrow.
better. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got to get a haircut tomorrow. I tried today, but there you go.
Just shave your head.
Yeah, yeah, I'm
Get a
not brave
hat.
enough for that. Ah, talking of hats, let's
Yes.
do a drum. Let's do a. Can you put a big drum roll in somehow?
I
You
don't
can
know.
do it.
Can I?
I'm not a. Yeah, you can.
I probably can, but how? Let me see.
I don't suit hats very much. Look at that.
Let's see.
We've got the
Yeah,
we've got the hero hat.
amazing.
I'll get them sent out
It's
this
a
week.
beautiful creation.
But I think I don't. Hats aren't too bad like that, maybe for me. But I need it here now. I've got a little
Yeah,
tag.
it's good either way, James. It's in your head.
Yeah,
It's
there you go.
it's in your head. No, it's good. Then I can stop wearing this. I'm getting a lot of negative feedback on this Yankees hat.
Is it
There's a
because
lot
it's
of
cord? Is it
there's
because it's
no
made
no
out of
no no.
corduroy?
I think it's the Yankees hat. There seems to be a lot of emotion around this. Of course, I know nothing about baseball, so I'm just it. This is
No,
just
yeah, people in England wear those hats as well. They
we
haven't got a
have
clue what they are.
exactly, and here we can get a Yankees hat, and that's it. There isn't whatever the other teams are called. These hats do not exist here. So
No, it's. I think it was. It came around in the '90s. It was massive, and then it stuck around, so it just populated Europe.
yes, and I have no affinity to the Yankees or disaffinity. So
Mm.
they,
Yeah, I think we'll try and we'll see how it goes. But I'm feeling hopeful for this year. We just need to continue with the whole
yes,
um, health for every region and origin,
yes we do.
and we need to. Yeah, we'll go back to. We'll get a lot of our carnivore friends on, like Southern Yankee,
Yeah, we
Casey.
haven't talked to him in forever, so
Yeah,
we need to get him back.
and Cactus Keto's back. I was over the moon with that. Everybody thinks is a fake account, but he's genuine. He sent me a message saying I did because I private messaged his old account months
Yes.
ago, and he said I did see your message. Um, but he's a master when it comes to barbecue and food. They obviously enjoy their food.
Yeah, that's good. I'm not. I did an enormous amount of barbecuing for many years, but in the last few years, I've it's almost zero. I just
Yeah, I need to. I've got some charcoal. I've got some lighters. I need to get back on it. But I've been living. I've the majority of my food recently has been beef burgers because they're just
yeah,
so easy
exactly.
to. They're just too easy.
Exactly, and I think kind of laziness kind of overtook me. I have
Yeah.
all kinds of grills. You know, I have small ones, portable ones, gas, coal, everything. But I just can't be bothered. You know, I
Mm.
guess when I get into a phase, maybe
Yeah.
then it's going to be all everything grilled for a while. But
Oh
we'll
yeah,
see.
I think it will be. Yeah, I think it'll probably be March, April time when the days start drawing out and I can see what I'm doing in the garden, and then
Yeah,
I'll just
that's an
start again.
advantage
But
too, of course.
the X algorithm is so strange because when I was posting about all the barbecue stuff at the sort of beginning half of of last year, um, I was getting all of these great barbecue accounts show up on my
Hmm.
profile, and I'd see none of them now. It's a
I
shame.
had, I was that much into grilling. The reason I call it grilling and not barbecuing is because barbecue is something else in the States. So sorry guys down under. So we're going to call it grilling. But I was that much into grilling that when I had a new kitchen made in my previous house, I had a part of my stovetop was a grill. So I had a built-in grill in my stove.
Awesome.
So that was nice. A lot of smoke.
Yeah, yeah, there's a lot of smoke. Um, but that's the beauty of learning about real barbecue and grilling is once. So in England, as soon as you get the first sunny day, everybody's out. Even if it's 15 degrees, they'll have their t-shirts on. And what they do is they'll buy a load of really low quality frozen meat, um, put a bag of instant like charcoal on their grill, and just incinerate it. So it's like raw in the middle and black on the outside.
It's
And
a ritual.
when you, yeah, and when, yeah, it is. And when you actually look into barbecue, you then look into the two zone heating technique. You realize that like the Kamados and like the Weber kettle grills are so versatile. You have the two zones
Yeah,
of heat, so you can cook it, bring it up to temperature slow, or you can smoke it and then reverse sear things. But you
exactly.
just get so much more flavor out
Yeah,
of
I
the
have,
food.
and what I use these days is I have a number of Weber grills which I use,
Mm,
and you just get amazing results with with many things. I think
mm,
one of the meats which I actually prefer to eat only grilled is chicken breast. It
yeah.
doesn't really come out in a satisfactory way unless you grill it.
Mm.
In much to my taste, and when you grill it, it comes out perfect every time. It's just I don't know why, but whereas with a steak, you can get a nice pan sear on. Now I'm looking at the stove over there. You get a nice pan sear on a steak, which is great. Yeah, taste is
Yeah.
maybe a little bit
The,
better when you grill it, but
yeah, my mind just went to like a white wine sauce. The chicken
difficult to make
breast in
on a
a white
grill.
wine sauce. Exactly. Difficult to make on a grill. Um,
Well, you need a pot.
but
So,
that's the sort of foods that you might start craving. And that's when you can probably start looking into ketogenic meals because you can have like cream or coconut based sauces with extremely low carbs. Um, and they do taste phenomenal. It's like if you're
yes,
someone that loves food, yeah,
and I think uh, I I'm going to make a claim anyway. Let's see if somebody protests. But I think you could make a white wine sauce and keep it keto.
you can. Yeah, there's no
You
doubt.
evaporate all the alcohol and just choose a white wine, which is choose a dry Riesling. It has hardly any sugar in it at all,
Yeah,
and you're not going to get over your levels. I think if for some
bit of
people,
tarragon.
yeah, tarragon, exactly. I think
Mm,
if you're an alcoholic, obviously you probably don't want to do that.
no.
Unrelated to the alcohol, but the trigger of getting something which getting the
Mm.
thinking going about the wine and stuff, maybe not so good. But let's say you're just a normal non-alcoholic person, then you probably could get away with that. I think the I think one of the reasons for being a little bit strict when you start out is just to make it easier for yourself.
Mm.
So rather than deal in exceptions all the time, just just be strict, find yourself, and find out how that works for you. And then once you're stabilized and understand what's going on after some weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, whatever, then you can make a little bit of experimenting with some things. But I think one of the big issues, I think, is that food is such a huge entertainment for most of us.
Hmm.
And 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 one of the things which will help is if you can get out of the reflex of food having to be entertainment, and being sustenance rather than entertainment. Doesn't mean it can't taste good. It doesn't mean you can't put some effort into it. But I'm maybe I'm not really a huge fan of trying to replicate every kind of dish in a keto version, and going for that. I think that's for later. Once you know what you're doing, you've gotten into a lifestyle of eating healthy, then maybe you can do a little bit of experimenting with that. That would be my proposal. You, of course, you can do what you want, but I'm not trying to tell people what to
Yeah,
do. But
yeah. And then this is why it's good that we're open and honest about everything, because I've been thinking about we can obviously not for January, but maybe February or March time when people are starting to think, oh, I'd like to have a curry. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah,
there's I've been speaking to a few Indians at work, and I said, how do I make authentic Indian curry? Because I think Indian food is probably one of the easiest foods to make ketogenic, because you can just have a coconut base, meat, and spices, and then
yes,
instead of rice, you can have cauliflower rice.
yes,
You
yeah,
can you could have tomato based dishes as well,
sure,
because if you use a whole tin of tomatoes, I think there's about 25 grams of carbs, and you're not going to eat a
you're not
whole
gonna
curry.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's not.
so you can remain ketogenic, but let's not talk about that too much. We'll just do the work behind the scenes. We'll come up with a few recipes, and then springtime maybe we can try and get a tutorial together, some sort of edited video, make it look good.
Yes, I think in some ways, I guess what I'm talking about, or what I'm talking about, is that you're going to get much better at improvising successfully
Mm.
once you have the basics uh, very
Yeah,
well in
we need.
hand.
Yeah, that's what we need to focus on for January is the basics. Yeah,
Basics, yeah,
100%.
and
Because this is why we're low carb logic, because there's a there's so many ways you can achieve your goals by simply removing carbohydrates. So if you
mhm,
simply remove the carbohydrates in January, you'll realize that actually it is quite sustainable.
yes,
Um, and you'll learn a lot about yourself, because I'd recommend, if you fall off the wagon, just make sure you get back on and see where you go, because it's like, as you know, life's a never-ending journey, and opinions change from one day to the next for some people. So, but
yeah,
just
and I
remain consistent.
and I think exactly, and I think there's no the I don't know if it's I don't know how necessary it is to say that I want to lose this much by such and such a date. I mean, maybe okay, maybe if you're getting married and you don't fit in
Mm.
your bridal costume, maybe there is a specific date, but I think uh, otherwise you have the rest of your life to get yourself sorted out.
Yeah, there's no
So
rush. There is no
so
rush.
just it's
And
about
be
what you
and
do every day. It's about what you do every hour, and sometimes when the cravings hit hard, it's about every minute or even every second, and
yeah.
getting to the next one, and
Hmm.
not putting unhealthy stuff in your body.
Mm. The other thing to be mindful of in a few months is when the goalpost starts to change. So I think my goal was like 90 kilos from 130, and or three. I was £300, got down to £200, and then I realised I still had a way to go. But you just remain consistent and don't worry about it. You'll get there.
Exactly, and the same goes for any other things. The gym, building muscle, and
Mm,
whatever, building your endurance if you want to do endurance running or cycling and stuff like that.
mm.
So yeah, one step at a time. Consistency is what it's about. And yeah, maybe it sounds a little bit preachy, but that's
Yeah,
it.
it's a cliche,
It really
but there
is.
you go.
Yeah.
I think we're going to see some good, some mind-blowing transformations from Mike the dietitian this year, um,
Yes.
because I can't remember how much I bet him. £5. When there's £5 on the line, you don't want to lose it. So
Indeed.
I think is gonna have a chiseled six-pack at some point.
It's about honor.
Yeah, and like we've got to sort of tie a few things up, which is we're in the mindset of new year, let's just carry on, like nothing's changed, carry on. Whereas there is that setting goals are important because it's got you've got something to keep drawing your mind back to.
Yes. Yes. True. I wasn't. I'm not against goal setting, but I think
Mm,
I do think that that defining habits and sticking focusing on that. I think in terms of achieving results and improving quality of life, I think that is I would focus more on that than doing a lot of extremely specific goal setting with goal weights, fat percentages, dates,
mm,
by when, and things like that. Because what happens after that. So
yeah.
you want to keep going for the rest of your life. So and I think the other thing is, I mean, I've obviously done a large amount of goal setting in my life, especially professionally, and yeah, it can be effective, but it's not necessarily something which improves your quality of life. And I think with the things that we're talking about here, uh, the whole point is to improve your quality of life. So
Mm,
you don't want to improve your physical health just by and then in the process you've made your life a hell full of stretch goals and other stuff which is not healthy for you.
yeah. Yeah. Nice. So if anyone's got any questions, then just send us some messages. We're in full swing again now.
Yes, just having a look here on my somebody's. Yeah,
So
and
this,
then we're gonna do Egg Week, aren't we?
yeah, yeah, we'll give
So
Egg Week number 2 a go.
yeah,
It's
I just
strange.
saw
It was
Chris from Switzerland. She's gonna join us in Egg Week, she said.
lovely.
And my proposal was to do it starting the
11th, was
11th.
it?
That's a
Yeah.
Saturday, but we can start on the 13th, whatever,
Hmm. Yeah.
which is a Monday. I don't know. It's I'm fine any time after the 11th or later.
Awesome. Yeah, cool. Right, I'm going to hide the hair again. There you go. I
Good.
need a haircut so bad. Yeah, I'm happy, Klaus, if you are.
Yeah, then let's see. We do a session tomorrow and
Yeah.
do a recording tomorrow, and let's see if we can get
Yeah.
time it so that that Goody is actually awake. Let's see.
Hmm.
It's still very early. It's 5 a.m. in Minneapolis. So
or maybe even this evening if we've got time.
yeah, let's
See
see.
how you feel.
Provided it's not too late. I was just getting
Yeah.
yesterday with Goody. I was just getting really tired. You know.
Okay.
You know, I get up at mostly. I get up. I try to get up at 4. Sorry, at 5 o'clock. So, and I think I don't remember yesterday. Was I up even earlier than that? So, by 11 o'clock in the evening, when you get up at 4 or 5.
Yeah, I know how it feels.
It gets a bit. It gets. Yeah, you know it
Yeah.
very well. So.
Yeah. I'm up at 5 in the gym for 5:30, 5:45.
Yeah.
I'll do a 12-hour day at work, get home, and it's probably 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah, you're pretty spent at that point. So.
Yeah. But you wouldn't change it. It works out well.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
the especially with your commute and everything, I think it's
nuts.
it's a good it optimizes your and it minimizes your waste of time in a way.
Yeah, and the other thing is people say, "Oh, I could never be up at the gym at that time." It's like, well, there's 0% chance of me going in a gym after doing a 12-hour shift.
Exactly. Yeah. It has to be same for me. If I don't do it first, it's not happening.
Yeah.
Same with my with my push-ups and pull-ups and stuff. I need to get them in as early as possible, and before I start, before I have my meal. And not that I can't, I can do it easily even if I've eaten, but it's just not, the likelihood of it happening is not very high. So
Cool. Okay. Right, guys.
All right.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see you soon. We'll get a video out.
Yeah. So see you later, and yeah, we'll catch up, and then we'll do a live. Who knows? Maybe we'll be back later today or at latest tomorrow. So
Here we go.
Hero is where it's at. All right, James.
Okay. I'll just I'll stay on the riverside. We can stop live streaming and then have a quick catch up.
Okay, I'm just going to stop here now.
Bye bye.
All right, we're not.